Good afternoon. Good afternoon. My name is LaKeesha Hines, and you're watching SOS, where I am saving our sex lives one bedroom at a time. Hello, everyone, and happy Tuesday. You know how we do it every single week. We are trying to assist you all with having the bomb.com bedroom experience. All right. So now, last week, there was someone who chimed in last week and said, I want to ask a question. And it literally was like 5 seconds left. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. There were only a few seconds left, right? Few minutes left. So please drop your questions. Go ahead and drop them in early. Let me know who you are and where you're streaming from so I can shout you out. You know, I love to do that. But for sure, feel free to join in on the conversation. Drop your comments, questions, all of that. I'm here for it and I love it. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you are sharing the SOS show. And before I do, and everything Couples Academy with your friends, family members, coworkers, colleagues, neighbors, and everybody. I told you before, when you get off the show, right? Go knock on your neighbor's door and tell them, hey, you need to make sure you're watching SOS and connecting with Couples Academy next week. All right. So we are going to continue our conversation today about whether or not cheating can cause erectile dysfunction. So we already talked about it. We already confirmed that it absolutely can cause erectile dysfunction. And I gave you two different scenarios, and the we're going to continue because there are four total. We'll continue with the other two today and we'll make sure we get through them. So, the first scenario was about having erectile dysfunction after you've been cheated on, after someone cheats on you. That most certainly can cause erectile dysfunction. You're emotional, you're hurt, you're in a lot of pain. And so, it absolutely can lead to erectile dysfunction. The second scenario was you having erectile dysfunction after you cheated. And that has to do with the guilt and shame that comes with that. It definitely can impact your libido on both in both scenarios, and impact your ability to obtain, maintain, and recover after having an orgasm. So, again, we know that this can happen and it does impact. So, let's jump right into our next scenario. What if your partner never had issues with erectile dysfunction, but then it seems like all of a sudden they're starting to have issues with erectile dysfunction? So that may lead to some worryation. Yes, I just made that word up. It's not a real word. I made it up. That can lead to some worryation about whether or not your man is being faithful. So I just want you to know, do not panic if your partner cannot get an erection. There are so many potential reasons why they may not be able to have an erection. Now, I want to go back a little bit and define for those of you who maybe didn't watch last week that erectile dysfunction symptoms could be trouble getting an erection, trouble keeping an erection, and it also could be reduced sexual desire, a lowered libido. Okay. And so now, if that happens, and again, it wasn't happening before, but now it's happening again, that can sound an alarm and it could make one think that their partner is being unfaithful for whatever reason, especially if you watched the show last week. You're like, okay, wait a minute, they cheat on me? Or if you are someone who cheated on your significant other, you may be thinking, is this my fault? And it could be. It could be. So, what I want to talk about today, though, are the other causes of erectile dysfunction because it's not always infidelity. So, there are many, many medical conditions that can lead to erectile dysfunction. First one is heart disease. Heart disease can cause erectile dysfunction, clogged blood vessels, which would be atherosclerosis. Some of you may be familiar with arterial, but there's also atherosclerosis, which can cause erectile dysfunction. Now, how, LaKeesha, you say? Well, here's the issue. To have an erection, right? To get one, to maintain one, it actually it needs the penis needs blood flow. That is what causes the erection. And so, if there is not enough blood flow to that area, then we're going to have some issues. We will have some issues. We got to have enough blood flowing there. Okay. And so, again, if the blood is clogged, if your blood vessels are clogged, then they are not able to get enough blood to that penile region, which is what is needed for that erection. All right. So the atherosclerosis is actually a type of arteriosclerosis, and arteriosclerosis is when your blood vessels carry oxygen and nutrients from the heart to the rest of the body through arteries. They become thick and stiff, and then that can restrict the blood flow to the organs and tissues. And so we know if we have healthy arteries, they're flexible, they're elastic, but there are situations where over time the walls of the arteries can harden, and then that hardening of the arteries is that um um I just went blank. Sorry. Arteriosclerosis. So athero, like I said, is a specific type of arteriosclerosis, and that's when we have a buildup of fats, cholesterol, and any other type of substances on the artery walls. And that buildup is called plaque. And so the plaque can cause the arteries to narrow, blocking the blood flow. All right. And then it can also cause blood clots. So, again, for those of you who are not eating healthy, not doing what you need to do, and you don't have a healthy lifestyle, understand that that high cholesterol, too much fat in your diet, it actually can cause this fatty buildup, this plaque buildup, which can block those arteries, and that can cause some serious heart problems, right? So then you can end up with a heart disease type of situation. So heart disease, clogged blood vessels, arteriosclerosis, atherosclerosis, high cholesterol, high blood pressure. That's another thing you hear. This is all having to do with the blood, right? If you are a diabetic, that can cause erectile dysfunction. Being overweight can also cause erectile dysfunction. There's something called metabolic syndrome, and this is where you have increased blood pressure, high insulin levels, and body fat around the waist, and high cholesterol. That can also cause erectile dysfunction. Parkinson's disease, I'm sure most of you are familiar with, multiple sclerosis, um, uh, Peyronie's disease. This is where scar tissue develops inside of the penis. Alcoholism, sleep disorders. Um, I said medications, right? I think treatment for prostate cancer or an enlarged prostate, surgery or injuries that affect the pelvic area or the spinal cord. Low testosterone is a big one. That is probably one of the more common ones. Is low testosterone that can cause erectile dysfunction. But alcoholism, other drugs being abused, tobacco use can also cause erectile dysfunction. And if I did not say, certain prescription medications can cause erectile dysfunction. So I'm saying all of that to say, don't automatically assume because your man may be having issues with ED that he's cheating. Okay. It could be so many other things, which is why I said last week, you have to go and get a full workup, get a medical exam, go see the doctor, and figure out if there's something medically causing it. All right. Now that's the physical, but the psychological side of it could be depression, anxiety, or any other type of mental health condition. Stress is one that can cause erectile dysfunction, and also relationship problems. Hello. Relationship problems cause stress. Poor communication, if you're concerned about money, having difficulty paying bills, you have kids that are out of control. All of these things can lead to erectile dysfunction because it can cause stress and anxiety and will make it difficult for you to perform. All right. So again, if nothing else, just do not panic. Okay. Do not panic if your man is having difficulty struggling with obtaining or maintaining an erection. I don't want you to panic because, again, it could be so many other things that are going on. So, what can you do? What can you do? I said, first thing, don't panic. And it's common. It's extremely stressful to deal with the constant thought of that, oh my God, he can't get an erection. Is he cheating? So, you just got to pause, take a deep breath, and remember that erectile dysfunction can be the result of so many other things that has nothing to do with being unfaithful. You want to try not to jump to conclusions or become accusatory. If you accuse your spouse or significant other of cheating and they're not, that can be highly offensive. And that can really cause some hurt and pain on their behalf, especially if they're not doing anything. So you don't want to jump to conclusions. You want to familiarize yourself with the other potential causes to prepare you for a calm and open conversation with your partner. Now, I have said multiple times when you're watching the SOS show that you're going to hear one particular word over and over and over again. It's a C word, and that word is communicate. The best thing you can do for your partner is to talk, to talk. And, for many, many men, opening up about their erectile dysfunction is the very first step to solving the problem. Because if they know that you're not judging them and you're there to talk, you could see improvement in their confidence, therefore, could also improve their erections. So, you have to educate yourself. And if you really understand erectile dysfunction, then you need to help your partner build confidence and have better sex. Learning about erectile dysfunction is like one of the best places to start. All right. So you want to educate yourself so they know that you're with them. They're not alone. They have a partner in this. Okay. So you just want to try to understand not only the physical parts of erectile dysfunction, but also the psychological and the anxiety and stress aspects of the erections. For a lot of men, there is pressure to perform. They want to make sure you have a pleasurable experience. And if we're talking about somebody who loves you, ladies, he puts extra pressure on himself to ensure that you're having a good time. And so sometimes that extra pressure can actually cause erectile dysfunction and be counterproductive. And I know that may seem weird, but it's the truth. I want to say hello, Vashan, Lady Z, Sun Mova. Thank you for joining. I love that Sun Mova says diet as well. They should eat grapes. Oh, she's saying eat grapes, fellas. That'll help with your erectile dysfunctions. And Lady Z says, thank you for speaking about this. Such a sensitive subject. It is. It is a sensitive subject. If you feel as if you have no control over a specific part of your body, it can be very emotional. And you want that particular member of your body to perform a certain duty or task, and they're not up for it, then literally it can cause a lot of anxiety and stress and insecurities and lack of confidence and all types of things. So we so need to be sensitive um uh for men who are struggling with this, who are suffering from this. And Lady Z, no, I did not get your question last week, so please type it in the chat. All right, so the second thing you can do, take the spotlight off the penis. Take the spotlight off the penis. What you can do is extend your foreplay experience. Because if you can take the emphasis away from the penis, from penetration, and focus on other things, then, your man might be able to really just relax. And, once he realizes and she realizes that great sex isn't just about getting an erection, then the pressure goes away. And oddly enough, usually getting an erection gets a lot easier. So you definitely want to make sure, again, that you're having conversations about it. And once, your spouse feels confident about it, many, many times the problem will disappear along with the anxiety. Okay. So again, we have to be sensitive um, to our men who are going through this, and we have to be patient with them. We have to educate ourselves. We have to have conversations. This is what we have to do to make sure that we're standing in solidarity with them and we're supporting them. So I don't want you to go anywhere. We're going to take a quick break. Don't swipe left or right. You know how we do. We'll be right back. You're watching SOS Show.
Welcome to the Couples Academy app. The Couples Academy app is your go-to hub for how to do marriage right. Get started with our app today by perusing our amazing features that conveniently allow you to connect. This app is packed with powerful content and resources to help you grow and stay connected. With this app, you can watch our messages, find marriage resources, watch, listen, and read the real-life stories of restored couples, sign up for events, read articles and blog posts, stay up to date with push notifications, share your favorite messages via Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or email, and download messages for offline listening. For more information about the Couples Academy app, go to couplesacademy.org.
Welcome back. Welcome back. You are watching SOS. My name is LaKeesha Hines, and we're talking about whether or not cheating can cause erectile dysfunction. I did want to point out one more thing to you guys. There's something really, really important happening in October, and it is the Phoenix Awards Gala. This is the Couples Academy Phoenix Awards Gala. It is happening Saturday, October the 7th, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time in Alpharetta, Georgia. Please scan the QR code at the bottom of the screen so that you can learn more. This will be a night to celebrate marriage, relationships, love. People love. Doesn't matter if you're in a relationship or not. Matter if you're married or not. You can still show up and celebrate because you believe in the power of love and the resilience of marriage, whether you are married or not. So please scan this code at the bottom left of the screen and get your tickets. Get your tickets and meet me there. Okay. I want you to actually beat me there. All right. And then let them know that you heard about the Phoenix Awards Gala on SOS so they can park you at my table. I'd love to meet you up close and personal, meet you face to face, and introduce you to my baby daddy, my boo thing, my boyfriend, my husband, Mr. Willie Hines. All right, so let's continue our conversation. While we are on the break, I did get a question, and it is from Tammy. Hello, Tammy. She says, can the death of a brother cause a man to cheat on his wife? Oh, Tammy, what a great question. What a great question. Okay, so here's the situation. Can that cause them to cheat? I don't know that I necessarily agree with that being the cause. Okay. Cheating requires a conscious decision. Okay. Many times people will say, it just happened. It just happened. Um, Nothing just happens. Nothing just happens. Because again, there has to be a decision made at some point. And I don't care if it was a one night stand or if it was a long relationship that lasted for months, it doesn't matter because at some point you still had to make a decision. And I hope that makes sense to you. Um, Even for the one night stand, I mean, before you actually engage in a kiss, an embrace, intercourse, whatever, there's a decision made to move forward to either insert your penis into a vagina or to open to receive a penis into your vagina. There has to be a decision being made. So can I say that that causes? No, I don't agree with that. But I will say this: grieving causes people to sometimes make unhealthy decisions if they don't get the proper support, if they don't get the proper help, then they will make some bad choices. They'll make some negative choices. My question for you would be, if this is your life and this is your scenario, did you see other unhealthy behaviors in addition to the infidelity? Was there drug abuse? Was there alcohol abuse? Was there a neglecting of responsibilities? Um, was there the depression type behaviors where we're not sleeping good, we're not eating good, or we're overeating or oversleeping? Did you see signs of depression? Because again, that there is a situation where death causes people to react in some unconventional ways and some crazy ways. And also it literally can cause um people to act completely out of character. And so, research has shown that trauma actually can cause infidelity. Trauma can cause infidelity. It can, let me say this, it can lead to infidelity. Okay. It can lead to infidelity because oftentimes there's something lying underneath that usually people don't discover right away. It's after they get into counseling, after they get into therapy, then they realize, oh my gosh, this was so much deeper than that. And the thing is, the infidelity is nothing but a symptom anyway. It's a symptom of a deeper underlying issue. It's just like a person, how we were talking about on the other side of the break. We were talking about heart disease and we were talking about arteriosclerosis and atherosclerosis. Here's the thing: usually, what happens is there's some sign, and we talked about diabetes too. There's some sign that something's not quite right in the body, right? With the diabetic, before they're diagnosed, there's usually dizziness or lightheadedness, headaches. There's usually signs, and then you go to the doctor and you get a checkup, and they realize, oh my gosh, we need to run some labs, and they run labs, and it comes back that you're diabetic. So, do you see what I'm saying? Like, there's signs and symptoms to help you get to what the actual issue or condition is, what the disease is, right? It's the same thing with infidelity. It's the same thing with infidelity. The infidelity is a symptom. And then that takes you to the doctor, aka Couples Academy. And then we diagnose what the actual issue is. Okay. So it's just a symptom, really. So we have to get to the root of everything else that is going on, right? Because again, it's typically not the cause. There's typically something else going on, but I will say that it will cause people to go through a myriad of emotions and depression and anxiety and all different types of things. And them being in an unhealthy place and not getting help and not getting support may lead them to make bad decisions. So I hope that helps, Tammy. I see you go on to say he used that for his excuse and blamed it on the beers and blackouts. So, do you see what I'm saying? That's exactly what I'm talking about. That is usually not just the infidelity, there's usually some other behaviors that are coupled with that to give you signs that they're not in a healthy place, right? That they're not in a good place. And so then they would be making multiple decisions that are not necessarily good. So if you are drinking to the point where you are blacking out, then we know that we're abusing. That's alcohol abuse at that point. And so, no, if you're blacked out or you're not in your right mind, then of course you can make decisions that you would not normally make if you were sober, if you were in your right mind, if you were in a healthy place. So it's not an excuse though. It's not an excuse. You have to own, everybody has to own their actions and own their behaviors and own their choices and decisions. And we don't get to blame it on the alcohol like Jamie Foxx said several years ago, actually made a whole song about it. We don't get to blame it on the alcohol. No, you blame it on your lack of proper judgment and not making good choices. And that is what it is. And we have to own our stuff. So, no, it's not an excuse. First of all, there is no excuse to justify infidelity. There just isn't. It's a conscious decision that is being made to be unfaithful. Now, granted, there may be some underlying things. As I said, there may have been marital issues or issues within that person, that caused them to feel as if they needed to step outside of their relationship for fulfillment. But there's never a justifiable reason for infidelity. Lady Z says, we've been married for 2 years now, and I've been struggling with the fact that it feels like my husband doesn't desire me since we got married. He says he does, but he's shy. All he knows is porn. And then she goes on to say, what can I do to help this? All right. So, Lady Z, here's the thing, your husband has to make a different decision in terms of how he's going to spend his time, because what you feed will grow. If he spends his time watching pornography, he doesn't need you. That is a individual isolated type of thing, and it's usually coupled with masturbation. So if he's watching porn and he's masturbating, that is a solo act. He doesn't need you. He doesn't need you at all. And he may have gotten accustomed, and when I say that, I mean sexually. He may have gotten accustomed to self pleasure and solitude, and that's what does it for him. I'd be curious to know his personality type, because there are specific personality types that are loners and they like that individualism and isolation. But many times when folks are watching porn, not always, but many times when people are watching porn, it's something lying underneath. Is they're not just watching it for the enjoyment of it or the pleasure of it all. It's usually them trying to feel a void in some shape or form. And so I would need more information from him to kind of get to the root of where that came from. But if you're feeling like he doesn't desire you, it's probably because he's not giving you what it is that you need to feel desired. And that could be physical touch. What's your primary love language, sis? Is it physical touch? Is it quality time? Probably. And if that is the case, if he is spending the majority of his time watching pornography, you're saying he's shy, which means he probably doesn't talk a lot. And maybe it's words of affirmation for you. So if your primary love language is words of affirmation and your husband doesn't talk, you're not being affirmed, therefore you don't feel loved. If it's physical touch and he's not touching you, then you don't feel loved. If it's quality time and he's spending time in isolation, you're not getting the time that you need, therefore you don't feel loved. So again, it's him needing to course correct and shift some things. But it's you, what you can do is have a candid conversation with your husband. And I don't know how you've been trying to engage in these conversations, but you literally can go in and say, hey, this is how I'm feeling. This is what I want. This is what I need from you, and give him an opportunity to course correct and do something different. Make sure that you're not, coming off finger pointing and blaming and, raw, no pop off spirit, right? We're coming cool, calm, and collected, and we have agenda items, because most men, they don't receive emotions many times, they receive facts. And so you want to be detailed and specific when you communicate that, listen, this week you've only touched me one time, and I desire to be touched 5 times a day, or however many times it is. But be detailed and specific, Lady Z, with what it is that you want and you need from your husband. And book a session. Book a session. If he's open and he's willing, book a couple session so we can get to the root of, where's the need and the desire for the porn coming in, and how can you fill that void for him so that he no longer needs that porn. All right. Um, hey Puppet. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. So we'll just wrap up with the very last scenario, which was, you're worried that your partner will cheat because you're struggling to get an erection. So this is from the male perspective. He's struggling to get an erection. And so now you're worried that your partner will cheat. Well, here's the thing. It's common to think that, right? That if you can't satisfy your partner, that they'll look for satisfaction elsewhere. But you have to remember that whether you the whomever you're with, the most important thing is to make sure that they still feel secure and wanted. All right, so whether you are able to get an erection or not, you can show them that they feel desired, loved, and reassured in other ways. That could be cuddles and kisses, words of affirmation, planning date nights, whatever. So you just want to step your game up in all the other areas. Don't shut down. The worst thing you can do is to shut down and shut your partner out. That is what will make your partner cheat more so than you not being able to get an erection or maintain one, is you shutting them out. And remember that the penis does not have to be the leading role in the play. Great sex is totally possible without an erection. I know that's preferred, but it can happen without. There are so many different ways to make your partner come that don't involve penetrative sex. All right. And research has shown that 70% to 90% of women don't orgasm from penetration alone anyway. And so most women, they only orgasm from stimulation of the clitoris. So what does that tell you? The penis is important, but it ain't everything. All right. So if you all are struggling, you need help, please reach out, make that discovery call, and I got you. I'm here for you. So make sure again you like, share, subscribe, tell all your folks, all your peeps, and meet me next week, 12 p.m. Tuesday, to watch SOS. All right. Thank you for your questions and comments. I appreciate you. You all enjoy the rest of your day. Peace.